Hi everyone, today I'm doing a rewatch of Twin Peaks and I'm currently on to the 18th episode of season 2. It's called On the Wings of Love and it's directed by Dwayne Dunham and written by Harley Payton and Robert Engels. Okay, so quite an exciting opening scene with Harry and this Black Widow character who tries to kill him. She's a very competent woman, physically strong. It's sort of sexy in a dirty kind of way. She's seducing him and trying to kill him at the same time. We see Harry hallucinate Josie because of the romantic feelings that he's having whilst being touched by this other woman. This woman pretends to be Josie. I think this incident really awakens Harry as to what is going on, and you know, it knocks him back to reality, knocks him out of his funk, his depression. It makes him hyper aware that he doesn't have the luxury of getting drunk like that and slacking off and not being the sheriff. Okay. John Justice Wheeler dressed up like, I don't know what he's wearing. He looks like Where's Wally or something. Yeah, John Justice Wheeler has a bit too much to say, I think, especially to a woman like Audrey. He doesn't have to tell her how to be and how to behave just because he is this all-powerful male and she is a young girl. He doesn't really initially give her the respect of being able to decide what she wants and knowing what she wants, or knowing how to deal with more adult themes in her life. So I think he's just being a bit cocky because that is his personality, to be a bit cocky, I think, because he's probably been like that his whole life. With the business world that he exists in and the measures he has probably had to take to get where he is, I guess he talks to everyone like I guess he thinks he has some kind of upper hand to everyone, especially to young women like Audrey. And I like the way that as soon as Audrey puts him in his place, that he immediately backtracks and starts treating her with the respect that she deserves. So we get a lot of information there about from Gordon Cole about Wyndham Earle's past, and it is reiterated that it is suspected that Gordon Cole has at one time or another tried to fake his insanity, implying that he is basically evil or a psychopath. When Wyndham hears Gordon Cole say that he was suspected of faking his insanity, he does look like he has an expression on his face as if that's something he is angry about being caught out for. And there is also information that he worked on Project Blue Book, investigating the possibility of UFOs, and it was something that Cooper was not aware of in Wyndham's past. So Wyndham and Cooper did not know each other completely professionally, I guess. Wyndham Earle was obviously told that he couldn't discuss this with anybody because obviously Cooper doesn't know, and the files regarding his time on Project Blue Book are all redacted. We see Audrey helping Donna, trying to find out what her father is doing with Donna's mother. There is more kind of talk from Ben that he is trying to say that he has turned over a new leaf, he has become a new man. He's no longer the Ben he used to be, and he wants to make up for the years he's been in the wrong. We don't know at this stage what he's talking about, but it's still really hard to believe that Ben actually believes this about himself, given the things that he has done and the kind of personality he's shown previously. He tried to convince Catherine, and now he's trying to convince Eileen, and neither of them really buy the fact that he is a changed man. They just think he's full of it. So this is a nice interaction with Gordon Cole and Shelley in the diner, in which he discovers that he can hear only when Shelley speaks and nobody else. So when the log lady tries to speak to Gordon Cole, he can't hear her. I think it's lovely that she refers to her cherry pie, the log lady, as a miracle. So I guess we can assume that Gordon Cole either suffers from some kind of psychological defect in which he really thinks that he can't hear when he actually can, or we can assume that there is some kind of good magic afoot in Twin Peaks that is allowing him to hear this beautiful woman who he's very attracted to. Okay, so the conversation between Annie and Cooper in the diner reveals the fact that Annie is a geek, reveals the fact that Annie is a very strange woman. I think perhaps that she was a little like this before she went to the convent, a little bit of a weird person, a strange person, a person who did not go with the flow like everybody else. Perhaps she saw different things in the world, unnoticed by most. I would assume that from her personality. I don't think this is all because she's been in the convent, even though she does say that she's forgotten the social niceties. She's a strange woman, and the way that she speaks and the innocence of her situation, which she conveys to Harry and Cooper, is the same kind of innocence that Cooper has. So when she talks to him, they click really well, and the pair of them seem almost to be talking their own language, and Harry notices this straight away. And of course it's really nice to see Cooper so happy and in love, you know, because he's been through a lot since he got to Twin Peaks, and I think that one of the things that an audience would probably want to see from the beginning of Twin Peaks is for Cooper to have a love interest. Okay, so Donna gets this postcard from James, and James talks about how he's on the road and how everything's cool in the city of San Francisco. He promises that he's going to come back and tell Donna all about everything that's happened to him. From the way he talks so lovingly about being free like this, you get the sense that he probably will not be back for quite some time, maybe never. Doc Hayward is such an easygoing guy normally. He's everybody's friend in the community, and when Donna mentions Ben Horne to him, he's instantly on guard. He almost reacts in an angry way, and then he clearly lies to Donna about what her mother is doing with him. I think it's pretty easy for Donna to tell that there's something more to the story. Ben has a conversation with Audrey in which he basically asks her to be his right-hand man, and the emphasis is on the man, which I find quite amusing, that they imply that Audrey has to have the qualities of a man to survive in this kind of business world. Okay, so when Ben talks to John Justice Wheeler, he admits the fact that he doesn't know how to be a good man, and he asks John what the secret is to being a decent guy and how to conduct himself. I think basically how to conduct himself with honesty in all aspects of life. So after Annie recognizes that the symbols that Dale was sketching on his napkin were actually the symbols from Owl Cave, the men from the police go there and they find this symbol etched onto the wall of the cave, along with some other etchings, notably that of fire. So what they uncover in the Owl Cave is sort of an ancient hidden petroglyph, which is revealed when Andy puts his pick into the wall. Sets off this chain reaction, which has obviously been put in place so that someone can reveal it at some time. Dale is talking to Diane on his dictaphone when he sees Annie at the bar. I think this is quite a symbolic thing, that he cuts off his conversation to Diane, who he kind of talks to as if it's a wife figure. We have no idea who Diane is, but Dale seems to talk to her as if they have a very intimate relationship. But I think the fact that he wants to discard the conversation with Diane to pursue Annie is quite significant. So Annie and Cooper are at the bar, and they basically decide there and then to embark on a relationship. Annie tells Cooper that, you know, she's not the perfect person. She is very different to other women, and she wants him to understand this so that he isn't disappointed. She has a lot of baggage from the past. She makes a point that she thinks she failed in life before, when she obviously tried to kill herself. So she's taken a lot of the responsibility for whatever happened to her upon herself, and not blamed anybody else for that. She talks about the way that people think of her, and she says that people think she's strange, and she's also stubborn and very willful. And again, these qualities I think she had before she went into the convent. At the end of that episode, Wyndham Earle goes to Owl Cave, and he seems to understand more about the symbols and what they mean and the positioning than Cooper and the men. Sounds like something that he's been looking for or waiting to find for a long time. So I quite enjoy that episode overall. That episode feels more like an older episode of Twin Peaks, before we got a lot of the silly things, and before we focused on a lot of characters who we didn't know. I like the return of Gordon Cole because I think he is a very unique kind of character. His stuff with Shelley is very playful and sweet. I think Shelley's life, you know, there's a lot of drudgery there, and for her to have this moment of elevation like this when a very high status guy is showering her with attention and affection, I think that's nice for her, and it probably makes her realise her worth in life. She's not just Leo's beaten wife, she's not just Bobby's bit on the side, you know. I think that the fact that a man who has a higher status in life and in his occupation, who finds himself needing her as well as wanting her, I think that must be a huge boost to Shelley's confidence. I like the stuff with Cooper and Annie. I do think it's quite cute to see them together. Like I said before in the last episode, we got a lot of Annie's story, and I think we get a lot of it this episode as well. We find out what kind of person she thinks she is, and what kind of person other people perceive her to be, and also a little bit, you know, about her history and how she feels about what happened to her in the past. It's all very important information, I think, for us to care about Annie, in regards to her being Cooper's love interest. I also like the storyline with Donna's mother and Ben, and Audrey and Donna coming together, because they haven't been seen a lot, I think, through the whole series, and so it's interesting to see these girls together. I do think it's something that's unexpected, because Donna's parents seemed so above board, like they would never lie or anything. So I think when we find out there is a dark secret in that family, it's quite interesting. So yeah, that's the whole episode. Thanks for watching today, and if you would like to subscribe to keep up with my rewatches, I think there's only like 5 episodes left now in the whole season 2. You can also follow me on Twitter at @TheLogSadie, and I have a Facebook page at the same name, and that's it. Goodbye.